Welcome back to The Bar and the Brain with Tonee, Earle, and Taylor Fawumi. We are here with another exciting film series to review. We are going to break this one down a little bit differently, though. We are going to go based off of the interesting characters that we saw in the series Imperfect Woman that is streaming currently on Apple TV. Tay, let's talk about thoughts first. Tell me, what were your thoughts just overall on this series?
It was truly like an attention grabber. I do believe it is a slow burn. I feel like the first episode, they almost lost me. Episode 2, I'm like, okay, they're starting to get into it. And then I think episode 3 and on just had you locked in.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I stuck it out, because at first I was going to just forego the series, because I was like, it's okay, but it's a little boring.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I stuck it out, because it was really good and it took you through all the twists and turns.
It did. I too thought it was a slow burn. I was sitting there like, what does Taylor got me watching? And a little murder mystery. But I was, as if when it finally got to a point where I felt like I was starting to get more pieces that I didn't have before to help me solve whodunit, I became a little bit more interested. Obviously, this show has some really great characters in it. Let me read my little list that I made. So the first character we will be highlighting today is going to be Eleanor, played by Carrie Washington. But it also had this just really had a really great cast. We also had Elizabeth Moss from Handmaid's Tale, who played Mary, who I really think she killed this role, so much so that I hated her character. But we'll get into that in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Kate Mara, who plays Nancy, who, spoiler alert, is the person who we're trying to figure out what happened to her. And then we have 2 men that I'm excited to kind of talk about when we get to them in episode 4 of the series. And that's going to be Robert Hennessy's character, who was married to Nancy, and that's played by Joel Kinnaman. And then we had Howard. Dun, dun, dun. Was played by Corey Stoll. And I actually thought his acting was really well done too. So, okay, getting into our first character that we're going to review, Carrie Washington's character, Eleanor. Overall thoughts on just her as a character?
Overall, I thought, like, I love that she was like a boss CEO of her own company, and she had these, lifelong friends from college, and they still keep up with each other. I love that, they were doing things together, and it just seemed like they made their own little family. So I loved seeing that. I love that, she appeared that she wasn't like thirsty for no man. Right. And she had the little cute little boy toy at the office, and he was really thirsty for her, but it was given like she wasn't tripping on him.
That beautiful
and she was
chocolate man.
Yeah, she was just like, okay, you're beautiful and all that, but she was like, we need to keep this casual and like, don't be doing too much in the office. Yeah. So she really was just giving boss chick vibes, and I really loved that. But I later found out she was a simp, and I was really disappointed.
She was making some really, like you said, disappointing moves. Like I don't know. I just feel like whenever we get a series that's looks like it's going to be good, and you have your token Black characters, shout out to them for putting Leslie Odom Jr. in this series, because I love him so much. So it was nice to see him as Eleanor's brother. We won't be doing a character review on him, but it was nice to see him. But anytime you see these Black characters and they have some form of wealth, they're like doing well off for themselves, it always seems like they just make the dumbest decisions. It's like Black people can't be wealthy and smart. Like, if they're going to be wealthy, they're going to be making dumbass decisions. I'll never understand that.
And also Cheryl Lee Ralph was her mom.
Right.
Boss move. She played that part. So I did love that she had like some good Black actresses and actors that was like a part of her family, and just, give you the whole character of Eleanor. So I feel like it gives you a good background on kind of like how Eleanor seemed like she was sheltered a little bit.
Right.
Like mom didn't play those games. It seems like she went to all the really good schools, and mom was on her back because it seemed like they were a really affluent family, and they didn't want her making dumb decisions that will negatively impact the name. Is it boudoir?
The
Um,
boudoir, I think.
oh, Bordeaux, like
Bordeaux. What was the name?
it was definitely French. I remember that. It was like a French last name, and she was just so worried about, all the things when it was coming out.
Brochet. Boucher.
Boucher.
Yeah,
The
Boucher.
Boucher name.
Yeah.
So I remember just like watching that whole dynamic, which obviously we got a little bit of it in the first couple episodes, but we
Yeah.
learned more about the family towards the end of the
Yeah.
season. Um, but it just, I love that they gave her a whole family unit. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, her father, I want to say passed away, right? And
Yeah.
like they were like, mom and brother all supporting one another because
Yeah.
dad passed away.
Yeah.
So I did love that. She didn't come from a broken home. None of the Black stereotypes
Yeah.
that, are depicted in our films
Mhm.
sometimes. I'm glad that that wasn't the case.
Yeah. No, so am I. I mean, again, not sure why dad couldn't be in the picture, but I guess we got to take a win as a win, right? Like at least it wasn't a broken home.
Yeah. She had a dad, so
She
we
had a
love that.
daddy. Not sure how involved he was, but she had a daddy. But you know what? That brings me to the fact that potentially she may have had some daddy issues because one, she is an older woman, and I do not knock any women who do not have the desire to get married or settle down or have kids or do any of that. I think you should go and live your best life in whatever way that looks like. But this woman wasn't just, sleeping around and living her best life. She clearly was um envisioning herself with a man, just somebody else's man.
And that's the disappointing part for me. Like, I love me some Carrie Washington. Love
Yeah.
Carrie Washington down.
Yeah.
But I just hope she doesn't put herself in this mistress box
Yeah.
for all of her films, because it just always seems like she's gunning for somebody else's man. Like, why? She's so beautiful. She's so smart. She's articulate. She's got it going on. She's a CEO. She can literally have any man she wants. And you want your best friend's man? Like, I'm giving you the side eye.
Honestly.
And the thing is, once we watch the show, we later learn that whole time she introduced him to Nancy and she's loved him since she was 18 years old. Why didn't you just go smack? Why would you put your best friend on him if you knew he was the love of your life or like the man you wanted to be with? Why would you?
I think she was infatuated with him. I think he clearly was. I think Robert was clearly in love with his wife. You saw that from the beginning. His family was a piece of work. But I think Robert and Eleanor had a great friendship. And I think sometimes women may not want to ruin that by going smack and trying to see what could happen. And so I think that's probably why she didn't see anything with it. It's very much giving me like, oh, you would be better for my friend Nancy because she's had a rough life and she deserves love. And she really just didn't want to ruin the friendship because I felt like Eleanor was just like really close with Nancy the most. Like I felt like close with her daughter and all that stuff, which is why I want to know I want to know your thoughts on Eleanor sleeping with her dead best friend's husband not but a month after old girl body been laid to rest.
Want to give Eleanor and Robert the benefit of the doubt in a sense of grief affects you so differently. Everybody grieves differently. And I do think in a time of heated passion of them both grieving her, being around one another, supporting one another, taking her things, all these different things. I think the emotions were just high. And honestly, they probably had this sexual tension for years and, of course, never did anything about it because you are married to my best friend. Now she dead and gone. There's no barrier other than obviously like your ethics barrier,
Morals,
but your
yeah.
morals and values. But, when emotions are high, you don't be thinking about that you just be thinking of with your body parts. And like, that's unfortunately what happened. But do I think it was done out of malicious intent? No. But I feel like low key Robert was plotting on her.
You think so?
That's what it felt like. Yeah, because my thing is he initiated everything. Because if you remember, he invited her to go to the opera, which I thought was random, and she shut him down at first. And then here her ass come
and that
pull up in the black
outfit.
That cute little outfit, looking like she going on a date, ma'am.
Was going on a date.
Yep, and holding hands,
and they was holding hands. No, and that to me, so because you the kind one. Anybody who knows us knows Taylor's is a sweetheart, and it takes a million years to get through to me. So for me, it's a no. No, bad Eleanor. Why are you sleeping with your dead best friend husband while her daughter is also grieving the loss of her mother, who she treated like crap? Like,
yeah, I mean, it was still a no for me, but I'm just giving another perspective in the sense of, like, I have recognized that as a therapist.
Hey, don't grieve for me in that way when I'm gone.
Right. I know people grieve. I know people grieve differently. It would be a hell to the no for me too, because my thing is, I don't know. I'd be scared you gonna pinch me, or you gonna haunt me, or you're like, I just don't want no smoke. I want no smoke with the afterlife, because I believe in all that. So you hunching on my man, like, while I'm not even all the way buried yet.
3 days dead. You ain't even see if I could come back, bro. What's the problem?
No smoke. So it would be a no for me. And then also, like, I don't know. I feel like, I love all of my best friends' partners as like family. So I wouldn't even be like, there is no sexual or intimacy attraction to any of my friends' partners, because it's just like,
they my brothers.
That's like, you guys are family to me.
Exactly.
So I mean, her daughter is her goddaughter, and like all these different things. So it's just like, but the thing is, it's that history part, and the fact that this is what she always wanted. And I just hated it for our girl, because after they did that and, they released whatever to the media, he really took a step back from her, and she was given like, we're going to be together, we're going to figure this out. And he was just like, my lawyers told me to stop talking to you.
As they should have, because his daughter posts the fact that they were sleeping together while there's an active murder investigation going on for her dead best friend and his dead wife. Now, what would the thought process be to an investigator when the best friend and husband end up sleeping together right after the person dies? That'd be my prime suspects. I think they were in cahoots. That's just the dumbest thing you could do. And I felt like Eleanor was not acknowledging that. Like, for one, you went to work. She went to work the next day, and everybody's kikiing. Everybody's laughing and whispering. And she's trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Shows her the TikTok. You go straight to the man's house. Mind you, she come from money. So I would think the first thing I would have done was call my family and been like, yo, this is crazy. This didn't happen. Yada, yada, yada.
They was doing it behind the scenes. Remember?
They were.
I think God. Brother was already calling her like, your mother's going to murder you.
And for her to go next, bro, for her to go to the house, I really just felt like there was so many social dynamics about Eleanor being the only Black woman in this, like, main character Black woman in this series. I did not like how they did my girl. I just did not like how they did her. I just felt like she's this boss woman. She's running foundations. She's getting awards. She, clearly, career-wise, she's no DEI hire. Like, she's doing good for herself. But then the love aspect, and so this was the question I had for you. That love aspect, and I mean, I think all of Nancy's friends got some real issues the way they were. I don't even know they were so infatuated with Nancy. Like Eleanor wanted her husband, Mary wanted her life.
So I'm wondering, like,
is there a diagnosis for this? Is there a definition for kind of the ways that Eleanor moved? So, I mean, I know you did mention grief, but if we could put grief aside, acknowledging that Eleanor was pining after that man before Nancy passed away, what is that? Just clear, plain jealousy? Like, how would we define that?
Honestly, we don't have like a lot of her background.
Right.
So I feel like it would be hard to just diagnose her based just on the series, because we have a little bit of her background, but not enough where I feel like I could like confidently make a diagnosis.
Right.
I would definitely say, as confident as she portrays, I feel like she lacks self-esteem, self-worth, because I feel like she would not have been able to been played by Robert like a fiddle if she had some self-worth. Because my thing is, you can have the desire. Like, I'm not going to even front, or I'm not going to even fault her for having the desire, because it seems like she has wanted this man since she was 18 years old. And the fact that she has this opportunity to take the chance, she can take it. But the thing is, if she had self-worth, if she had self-love, she wouldn't have, because she would have been like, I love my best friend more.
Right.
As much as I want to do this, I know that if she was still alive, this would not be an option. So why would I now just forego all of the years of my best friend spending a life with this man, having a baby, and like raising this whole family, to think I'm just going to control, alt, add myself in, like copy paste myself into this life, and like his daughter's going to accept that, the family's going to accept that, and we're just going to live happily ever after.
Right. Yeah.
But I also think maybe this is a form of self-sabotage, because
I can see that.
Because it's almost like she wanted to be impulsive. She wanted to kind of, lean into what her flesh wants, and she knew it wasn't going to last long, but she was like, I just have to, she just felt like I had to see for myself.
Right.
So I don't know, like, for sure what I would diagnose her with, but I would definitely say it has, like, it definitely starts with the root on how she feels about herself. And what does she think she deserves?
Right. And because it's weird, because it felt like she had a good thing going. I mean, with the guy, again, I feel like dumb decisions, because you're sleeping with somebody who works for you and works
You're subordinate
with you. But it felt like he genuinely liked her. It felt like he thought it could go somewhere. And you're spending the night at his house, 3 a.m. in the morning and whatnot. And then at the end of the series, she ends up with a beautiful chocolate man. And I'm just like, I try not to play the race card and everything, but Robert was not that handsome of a guy compared to
not to blow up your life over. Not to blow up your life over.
Bro. And she got this slim-bodied, muscular man on a yacht at the end of the series. So I was really wondering why, and I feel like I will question this with every show I watch, because it does feel forced. It feels systemic. I was really wondering why they had to have her sleep with that white man under them circumstances.
Yes. And like have her like pining over him. Like I just hated how it's just like she foregoed all common sense when it came to him. She was really giving like Delulu.
Yes.
Real bad.
Exactly.
And it was making me so sad, because I'm just like, stand up, sis.
I need TV series to stop doing that, like with our strong Black women. Let them be strong Black women with strong Black men, because that exists in the world. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I am just so tired of seeing these amazing women, and oftentimes men too, not saying that doesn't happen. It just seems like it's everywhere I go. Every time I watch something, I will not see a couple that's just two Black people. It's just so hard to see. That's not like a sitcom, right? That's it's a real series. It's a real series. It's good. It's good film. I mean, the fashion. Just the fashion alone in this series. Carrie Washington's character was wearing them outfits. Everything else was so good. I get frustrated when it feels like TV doesn't want us to see ourselves in TV. And we are married to two beautiful Black men. So that was just my one little gripe about her doing the things. My real issue is, girl, you supposed to be a bad B. Why are you sleeping with these men you ain't got no business sleeping with? Only for it to end with her being with some sexy chocolate Black man, and we know nothing about him.
Right. And I think also I would have loved if they would have had Robert trying to like pursue Eleanor, and she swerved him. I would have loved that because I would have loved for her to say, maybe when we were younger and like this tension or whatever we had going on, but before Nancy, like after Nancy, this is no longer an option. And I would just love if she would have just chose herself and her best friend in those moments. And just acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yes, I am sexually attracted to you. Yes, I did want to be with you at some time, at some point, but you chose Nancy. You didn't choose me. And I'm not going to allow you to make me second best now that she's dead.
Exactly.
I choose myself. Because that's another thing I was thinking about. I was like, damn, sis, you're okay with being number two? Because my thing is, if he really wanted you, when you introduced him to Nancy, he would have swerved Nancy and continue to focus on you.
Exactly. And
then he also brought up to her that her brother had a nerve to say that she was off limits.
Exactly.
You telling me this 100 years later?
Exactly.
Why is this
and that's what scared you away? What? Yeah, and I think just off the bat,
manipulation.
I would feel really icky sleeping with, whether I knew you or not. I'd feel really icky sleeping with a man whose wife just died days ago. Like, I would have to know this isn't
wasn't even
love.
6 months. This
Bro,
wasn't even 6 months.
Long.
It wasn't even a year.
It wasn't long.
This was weeks.
It wasn't
after
long.
She died, if that. Like,
I would feel horrible. I would feel like I'm being used. I would feel like
he did use her.
He did
as a warm body.
He did, and I feel like
he didn't care about her.
He didn't care about her, and she had to have known that. And I think that was the thing that I guess I took points away from the series, because it just didn't feel like a lot of Eleanor's actions matched up with what we did know about her, especially as a career woman and things like that. So that was my issue. But also, they really had these girls breaking all types of girl code. And I didn't like that.
No.
I did not like that.
It was a lot of secrets going on. Like, it was just a lot of secrets. It was a lot of deception.
Yes.
It was a lot of sneakiness. I'm just like, are these at the end, I was thinking to myself, these hoes ain't friends for real. They are not friends for real, because there's just no way you would be okay. Like, when the last thing that Eleanor said to Nancy is so crazy. Like, just saying, I'm not going with you to go break up with this man you've been having an affair with. You got a good husband. Like, I mean, she was just going in, and she was begging her to come with me because she was scared. She was scared. And you thought, and you're like, telling her to get the hell out of my car and and you was so mean to her. Those are her last words. Now she did.
Now she's dead. She was so mean. All you have to do is say, I'll pick up Chipotle on the way and I will go to the end of the world with you. Like, how you ain't get in the car with the girl? She's telling you she's scared. And she seemed scared.
She seemed really scared.
Like, and it was all because she was crying. It was all because she didn't like the fact that Nancy was cheating on her man.
Because I want your man, and I wouldn't do that to him because he doesn't deserve it.
Because your man is so perfect, walking around like he getting ready to divorce her, acting like a plum fool.
He's
a drunkard who makes poor business decisions like any other mediocre white man who inherits a business, and now starts treating his wife like trash. And so Eleanor obviously didn't know that, and it almost feels like if Eleanor did, she still wouldn't have thought any ill will of Robert, because of how infatuated she was with that man.
Robert's the prize.
Robert was the prize, and I'm like, houseway. Neither here nor there. But that was the thing that I think that was the thing that really turned me off from Eleanor, was when I had seen how she was reacting to her friend in distress, because I felt like Nancy's character had made it pretty clear she was scared to meet up with this person.
Yes.
And especially since, I will say, they did not know that Nancy's stepfather had kind of came back into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
But you did know about her past. You knew enough about her past to know that if this woman is scared of somebody, I should probably go with her. And you didn't. And she ended up dead. And it's your fault. I'm just kidding. It's not her fault. But still, I didn't like it.
She should definitely take some of that heartache, some of that, not blame, because you're right, it's not her fault. She had nothing to do with
Right.
homeboy taking her out.
Right.
But my thing is, that wouldn't have happened if she went.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. He may have
jumped him.
Maybe, because that last scene, I said, okay, so Mary been walking around like a poor desperate housewife this entire time, and all of a sudden she got some balls, whatever. But but yeah, I mean, we don't know, but I do feel like it was clear that Eleanor, I still don't even understand Eleanor, because with this series, you are learning a lot of the stuff that led up to the murder late. Like, you're learning it kind of last minute.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end. Which is why it's kind of a slow burn, because it's just like, why do I care about these characters? But that again is why now I'm getting upset, because not only did you not go with her the day she was crying and begging you to come with her to meet with somebody who she was getting ready to end things with, and she's telling you she's scared, but then you sleep with her man after she's been killed by this man. That is dirty. That is not girl code. This series should have been called Women Who Break Girl Code, because I think it went beyond imperfection. These women were weird. These women were very weird.
It was giving weird.
It was giving
for
weird.
Sure. I can't wait for us to talk about Mary. I got so many thoughts on her.
Mary's probably going to be a very long episode, because I love and hate that hoe. Like, she played that character. She
did. She did. Yeah. But once again, Mary was down bad. Like, stand up, sis. Like, I can't believe she allowed that man to literally ruin her life. Ruin her life in the worst way. In the worst way.
Yes. But we will get to Mary on the next time we come back to Bar in the Brain. I think this is going to be a pretty short episode, because all we really needed to do was just go in on Eleanor, which wasn't very hard, because they just gave us a script worth of things we could go in on. But it seems like we don't have a diagnosis for Eleanor, because we don't really have enough information. But if I had to guess, I think the girl got some serious daddy issues for her to be acting the way she did in this show.
Yeah, definitely serious, like, issues with interpersonal relationships. Definitely a lot of issues with self-love, self-worth. Just seems like she has maybe some fear of abandonment, things like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, maybe a personality disorder for her, but I think I would just need to know a little bit more information. Now, I could definitely probably give you some diagnosis for Mary and for
Nancy.
Homegirl Nancy. Yeah. For sure.
They got tons of trauma. But one thing I did want to mention about Eleanor's character was how she bailed out Mary's son that we had learned about. And she did not, and I thought it was interesting, because she bailed out Mary's son, who has a gambling addiction, and she paid off Mary's son's bookie, I guess. And then at the time she was doing that, Nancy was being unalived. And so she needed an alibi. She needed to be able to prove that she couldn't have caused the murder, because she was doing something else. And instead, she did not want to rat out Mary's son, because he was on probation, and if it was found that he had done this, then he could end up in jail. So instead, she asks the man who works for her that she's sleeping with
Mm-hmm.
to hold her, to say, I was with you. I came back at this time, remember? So I think I do think we have to give Eleanor a bit more credit. I just think she's a bad friend. I think she can be very calculated. I think
Mm-hmm.
she can be very wise. I think she's out for herself, and I think she runs all these foundations and nonprofits to make herself feel better on the outside. But the reality is, she doesn't know how to hold a good relationship with people because she's not a very good friend. That's
Yeah.
my thought.
Yeah, I think she's a good friend first surface level. Like
Yeah.
the friends that you have like go out with drinks and have
Yeah.
dinner with like once
Yeah.
every
Good
6 months.
conversation. Yeah.
The good conversation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's a good like friend that you like a ride or die.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
Except for this case where she did look out for Mary's son. And I think the only reason she didn't tell Mary is because he asked her not to, because he was like, my mom has a lot going on. I don't want to stress her. Da, da, da. So I think, that shows that, she has a little bit of character because she was trying to stay true to the fact that, okay, and he was an adult now. He is over 18. So, he was just like, please don't tell her. And I think he wanted to tell his mom, just not right then and there, just because Nancy just died. And I think he was thinking about his mom's mental health. And he was just like, this is just going to be one more thing that she now has to worry about.
I don't know, Tay. I think Eleanor's character kind of got off on the fact that her two best friends' kids liked her more than they liked their own mothers. I don't know. I don't know. I think she felt like the cool god mom.
Auntie Earle.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I felt like she really appreciated the fact that you wouldn't go to your mom about this. You're coming to me. I felt like I saw signs of that because it did seem weird. And when Mary learned that Eleanor had did that, and she was like, "He is my son." I've been like, "No, he ain't." That's your godson or your nephew or whatever you want to call him. But why would you sit there and potentially get yourself arrested for a son that is not yours?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
And yeah, she said, get your own family or something like that. I was like, ooh.
She did. She had to say that. Because it really did feel like
she was imposing.
It did feel like she was imposing. It felt like she didn't want to go through the work. And maybe that's what makes the series so good is you have this one woman who's married to a man who comes from wealth. They have the big house. They live in luxury. She got all designer clothes and things like that. And in the beginning, the marriage is actually really beautiful. You also have this other family that is married. They have kids. The wife stays at home. The dad works, but he's in and out of jobs for whatever reason. And, in the beginning, that probably was good. And they had all these ideas and things. But then that goes sour because the wife realizes she basically sold so much of her time and her years for nothing but family, I guess. I guess that's worth something. I don't want to sound so cynical about not having family. I think that is great, but even Mary realized she all she got is the kids. And so you have Eleanor, who is the single woman who, it seems like by all accounts is kind of living the best of both worlds because while she doesn't have any biological children, she's kind of making herself a part of these families where these kids trust her. They go to her. They call on her when they need things. And at the same time, she also comes from wealth and has money and things like that. So she's kind of living the best of both worlds without having to go through any of the work of creating her own family. And I really do wonder, I wish the series would have gave us a little bit more background on Eleanor because it would have been, I felt like I understand why Nancy was the way she was. And I understand a little bit why Mary was the way she was. Because she was preyed on as a young person, and not like a child, but I think she was just coming into her work, her career, and her boss, makes a pass at her. So it would have been nice to know a little bit more about Eleanor to really understand what motivated her. Because other than that, I just can't help but hate her, and it would be nice not to hate her.
It would be nice, but yeah, she sucked.
Yeah.
Boo.
She did
tomatoes.
She did. But we love the acting. We always love a good Carrie Washington character because
yes,
she's so cool.
She is.
Yes. But yes, so that is our character review on Eleanor, I can't remember her last name, from Imperfect Woman, streaming on Apple TV. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all the thing. And soon we will be selling merch. We will be selling Bar and the Brain mugs. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Thank you.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.